Hey, this is Daniel from Adorama. Today we're going to talk about mixing flash with ambient light. We're here in my studio in New York City. I have Justina over here by the window and we're going to make a portrait of her. We're going to use our flash system to fill in and make it look very natural against the ambient light coming through the window. So I have a Profoto Acute system here. Let me turn it on for you. This is an Acute 2400 watt-second pack. Right now I've already pre-metered this. I have my pack split here, A and B split, and I'm at full power on the A side. That would give me 1200 watt-seconds, but then if you look over here on the variator, I'm down 2 stops. So that's about 300 watt-seconds. That's given me an exposure of about 5, 6.5. And I've already taken some test shots, so I know that 5, 6.5 at 250 is gonna give me a good exposure with the sky the way I want it. It's got a little bit of blue in the sky, but it's not super dark blue, it's very kind of natural and airy. What we're gonna do after that is we're gonna adjust the pack, we're gonna go A plus B, and then turn our variator always up to the max to give us 2400 watt-seconds, which is gonna allow us to make the sky much darker. So let's take some shots and I'll show you. Okay, so the first step when you're working with ambient light in flash is to figure out your ambient exposure. So I'll turn off my pocket wizard right now and I'm gonna make a shot. I'll frame up the way I want, focus, and shoot. At 5, 6.5, I've got the sky a light blue color. I can see some of the clouds, I can see the buildings outside, but Justina is simply a silhouette. So by turning on my Profoto system with the softbox, I'm able to make a shot here. And she's well lit. She matches the outside exposure and it seems very natural. I'll note too that I took the softbox. Normally I will tell you to put the softbox really close to your subject, but in this case I backed it up a bit to give it a little more punch and make it feel more like natural light. So it doesn't seem like we're lighting her, it kind of feels like it could be coming from the outside. So the other thing we could do is if we wanted the outside to be more airy and more bright, I could leave everything the way it is, but I could then bring my shutter speed slower. I'm at 250th of a second, which is the maximum sync speed of this camera. But if I went to, let's say, a 30th of a second, my flash exposure will remain the same at 5, 6.5, but now my ambient exposure, so the light coming through the window, the ambient exposure coming through the window is much brighter. So there's like a wash of light coming in. I have no detail in the sky. The buildings are a little bit blown out. I've got a lot of white, so if you want that kind of very airy look, this would be the way you could go. And the flash, because most of her exposure is the flash, it's gonna freeze her. She doesn't have to be super, super still, although note that some of the ambient light's hitting her, so if she does move around, you get some blur. So just be careful and let your subject know you're shooting at a slower shutter speed. I'm gonna go down to something very slow just to see what it'll look like. I'm gonna go down to an 1/8 of a second. That's very slow, so Justina's gonna remain still. We're gonna shoot. And again, very, very airy. And now there's so much light coming from the outside, I even have a highlight in her hair from the ambient light. So that's not really the look we're going for right now. So I'm gonna go back to my 5, 6 at 250. Now let's say I wanted to make it more dramatic. What I could do is, I can't go faster than 250, so I can't make it darker outside, but what I can do is give more flash power. So if I turn the flash all the ways up to 2400 watt-seconds, I have Dave over there, he's gonna dial us up. I've already pre-metered this, and we should be about f14. So if I go f14, boom. Justina still looks perfectly lit. She looks almost identical to the other shot, except now the sky's a much, much darker blue. So depending on how dark it was outside and how much power you have, you could even make it completely dark. It just really depends on, your strobe power. For a few shots, we're gonna have Dave open the window over here. We're gonna let some of the ambient light bleed in. Now I'm at 5, 6.5, so this bright ambient light coming in is gonna be like a hair light. What I wanna make sure of though is that it's not gonna get on her face because that'll be distracting. But if we just let it get on her hair, we can actually add a little bit of glow. So this in basics on mixing flash with ambient light. Remember, flash gives you a lot of control. You can actually make your ambient light the key, or you can make the flash your key, depending on how you meter and set the power of your flash and your shutter speed. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you next time on set.